first off, just tell us how you felt when you learned that you won the award for DEI in the workplace and at Charity Village's inaugural conference and awards.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate that opportunity to speak about Skills for Change. And thank you so much for recognizing the work Skills for Change has done in internal diversity and equity initiatives and also with our employer partners. It was absolutely thrilling to be a recipient of the award and to accept on behalf of our organization. For 39 years, Skills for Change has worked towards building equitable and welcoming communities for newcomers. And we focus internally in ensuring that our organization was diverse in various elements, whether it's through age, gender, sexual orientation, race, background, credentials, etc., to create a diverse and welcoming group of folks who can then provide the best services because they have the lived experience, cultural competencies, and capabilities to support our newcomer clients. So it was very thrilling to be able to receive this award and recognition for that work.
Well, we really wish you congratulations. And I'd like you to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the things that you think made a difference for you in the awards, like what you're essentially very proud of in the DEI space, particularly in your own workplace, but also, how it relates to your programming.
Thank you. So for us, the diversity, equity, and inclusion and a bigger focus on belonging is key to our corporate effectiveness. And in terms of building a workplace where employees feel valued and supported and engaged. So we do that through being inclusive of and sensitive to diverse backgrounds, both at the leadership team level and our frontline staff level. So we look at the people that we serve. Who are they? What are their experiences? When they walk into our various centers, do people reflect their background, their languages, their cultural connections, their understanding of the different lived experience, whether someone is coming in with a mental health challenge or coming from a low-income background and trying to navigate the workplace, a language challenge, are they coming with focus on needs specific to their gender, or is it a senior client or is it a youth? So they want to be able to come into a space that reflective of that and people who understand that and is culturally sensitive to that. So we recruit people with skills and knowledge and background that reflects the various communities that we serve. And so when we bring people in, then we focus on the belonging piece. So we focus internally on recognizing and celebrating all cultures, religions, days of observations, celebrations, creating internal communication tools, processes, events, and initiatives such as book clubs, film recommendations, Black History Month, Pride Month, Asian History Month, Tibetan History Month, Indigenous History Month, big engagements around that, not just nominal recognition, but learning, exchange, and opportunities so people who work with us can understand about each other and also take that information into how they engage with our clients. The focus of our business is immigrants and refugees. So we develop programs and services that reflect those needs. We do gender-based analysis on how our programs are being delivered to identify and take action in systemic or personal barriers for women in terms of how they face inequitably accessing services in the nonprofit space. Then we use those programming to inform women-specific programming at Skills for Change. We also added recently an anti-Black racism lens in our program and services delivery, both in terms of how the broader community and the staff who work in the organization. We also launched a Spotlight series in June 2020 with a lot of workshops and webinars with an in-depth look at relevant issues for the day, including the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on BIPOC women, and the feminist recovery, anti-Black racism, anti-Asian hate, really bringing an understanding, a dialogue around that in our sector, but also internal to the organization to increase understanding, to increase an understanding of diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, and also to ensure that our programs or services are reflective of those issues and that we're putting those top of mind. And lastly, from an external capacity building for our employer partners, for the last 14 years, we have led a Diversity at Work conference. It's an annual conference where we bring together leaders, industry change makers, HR professionals, D&I experts to look at the importance of diverse talent in business and the value of inclusion and belonging. So those are some of the critical things that we try to do, but externally, but also in terms of our community and our employer partners.
well, a very eloquent recitation of all of the work that you do. And certainly, you obviously live the kinds of values and internally for as much as you do in terms of providing the services that you do that are so important to creating a welcoming space to immigrants and addressing those concerns so effectively for them. I would love to know what it meant to your organization to win this award in terms of their own issues of potentially dealing with mental health during the COVID. Did it help with morale internally within your team in winning the award?
Oh, absolutely. It meant everything from the board level all the way to our frontline staff and our volunteers, because each and every one of our colleagues are working towards creating a well welcoming space, virtual workspace as it is right now for us, and service delivery. And to be, they're very proud of being recognized for that diversity, for who they are and what they each bring to create that diverse organization. Our board is a very diverse board. Gender, race, ethnicities, backgrounds, skills levels, capabilities, all of that diversity bring together good governance for the organization. So they're very proud that they've worked really hard and have that mandate at the board level. Then we move to our leadership team. It's a diverse team, gender, again, racial backgrounds, newcomers to Canada who've never worked in Canada, but able to use their skills at the senior executive and management level, feeling valued for that, and being part of an organization that lived those values, right? We're not saying to our corporate partners who are hiring our clients, you should be diverse. We started ourselves. And so when our colleagues can look at each other and say, here's my LGBTQ plus colleague, a younger colleague, an older colleague, a racialized colleague, all these things are critical. A former client colleague who comes in and now part of the workplace, they feel very proud. I feel extremely proud to have been part of this journey of transforming our organization, especially during COVID-19 when we were all remote and we lost that connection. We are an organization that it was sort of highlighted by touch and connection and hugs and being stopping to speak with people and feeling connected to people, and that was stripped away. This was something that really brought everybody together and has a sense of accomplishment that everyone feels ownership of and proud to be a part of. And since a lot of our clients are 70 to 90% are newcomers, the staff themselves also newcomers, and they feel really proud that this organization has taken a very particular specific focus on being inclusive and diverse, and then moving forward to ensuring that everybody feel that they belong.
I wanted to ask you as well. There'll be a lot of people who are listening to the podcast or this video that want to know, wow, I want to emulate this. What advice would you have to organizations out there who want to aspire to your achievements that actually won you this award?
First of all, that it's diversity is a continual journey. So first of all, ensure that you don't have an endpoint, right? It's not going to stop. Then the second piece is to figure out what it is you want to do in terms of creating an inclusive organization. What would that look like? And how would you ensure that the people that you bring in that will contribute to the inclusivity feel that they belong? There's value there. So the first step is to ensure that this strategy and DNI starts at the top, that there is executive champions and leaders who believe in it. Secondly, that there's metrics for that and there's accountability for it across all the executive portfolios. It is not an HR function to create a diverse organization. It's everyone's responsibility. And then once you have that, the executive champion that is part of your strategic priorities embedded in your strategic plan, that people are held accountable for it and they are measured against it, including, performance reviews, bonuses depending on your organizational structure, that is full ownership and accountability. Then you work to ensure that people understand what that would look like, that you change your behaviors, you ensure that practices from recruitment practices, compensation practices, promotional practices, all these are changed to ensure that it has an element of diversity, equity, and inclusion on there. And then your social practices, how you engage your colleagues once they join the organization, where you source colleagues for, so that it's not, it's not one group of people, it's not just internal referrals for people I know. And then the practice is to ensure when someone joins the organization, there is respect, there's an opportunity to grow, there is psychological safety, that there's a minimal emotional labor on people who are different as they try to navigate the workspace. So it really is a journey. It takes a strategic plan, it takes accountability, performance measurement, and a focus on belonging once you have reached through the diversity, equity, and inclusion component of your strategic plan.
Really well-structured response there. I just have one more question for you, Surranna. Um, do you think these awards are good for the sector? From the point of view of the impact on the sector at large.
I think it's very, very important that we highlight the work the nonprofit sector, which is a critical part of Canadian economy, is doing to create diverse and effective workplaces that are one built on trust and respect and value of our colleagues from the front line to the board. And it's important that we highlight that we can do this even with the limited resources that we have. We can accomplish this and be models for the private sector. So they can look at the work that we're doing with the limited resources that we have, that we can create beautifully well run organizations that are fiscally efficient, right? That are diverse, that have great outcomes and impact on our communities. This is very important that the nonprofit sector is brought forward as good examples of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because usually the models that we see are large multinationals, right? Who win the awards for diversity, equity, inclusion. And the third sector is usually ignored. And this is where we work so hard to build workplaces that are reflective of the Canadian community and society. And I think we need to ensure that people broadly recognize that not only are we doing good work, but we're building strong, diverse organizations that are very impactful.